Welcome to episode 124 of the Inside Bite. I'm your host, Tim Schaefer. I'm here with my co-host, Rudy. How you doing this week?
Hey, doing pretty good. Can't complain. Finally made it to Alan Wake 2, which I'm very excited about. So yeah, definitely have more to say about that. But otherwise, man, just getting ready for Thanksgiving. We're gonna take a trip to Texas next week, so that'll be something cool, during the break there.
Now, where in
So,
Texas?
Houston.
Is it always Houston if you're going to Texas?
Yeah, so this is the first time I've ever gone. My wife used to live there. Her mom lives there, and my brother lives there. So we're going to go spend Thanksgiving down there for once. So, yeah, so I'm excited. New place, never been to. So,
okay.
Yeah, should be a good time. Only thing that sucks is I'm going to go as soon as I get out of school, I'm going. And then when I get back, I have school the next day again. So kind of, no days at home on the break, but that's okay. It'll be fun.
Yeah. How do y'all do the breaks? Because my kid, it's just Thursday and Friday off, but he had a fall break like 2 weeks ago, I want to say.
Gotcha. So we didn't get a fall break or anything, but we also only have those 2 days off, but we get a February break off. So maybe that's why it balances out,
February break, that's weird.
It's like a winter break.
Maybe it's just because it snows so much, and that's maybe the heaviest time of the year.
I mean, it could be that too, but also they include the President's Day in that break.
Okay.
So it's really just a few days off versus 5 days, but you put them together and now all of a sudden you have the whole week. So it's really nice to have that week off in February, obviously. So no complaints for me. Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to go into the Game Awards, and I was thinking about how to really approach this in terms of us then as a whole talking about the Game Awards. Do we include our own stuff a part of this? Like, as we're going through, do we want to name our picks? Do we want to save it for a future episode? Maybe don't give our Game of the Year, but give all of the rest of what we would say? And then save Game of the Year for a different episode?
I think that's exactly what we should do. I think we should go through, as of right now, what we think, for example, best game direction is, right? Pick one, and we could talk about it. But yeah, Game of the Year we'll leave, especially because there's some games I'm still working my way through on that list.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that then. And with Game of the Year, we can say what we think would win, right? Mm-hmm. In terms of the Game Awards themselves, and then just hold our own personal till later.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go ahead and do this. And there's so many categories. This will just be our main topic, and then we'll get into some other various news and then what we're watching and playing. So let's start. We're not going to start Game of the Year because we're going to hold off to the end. On the website, it's the first thing that pops up. But unless you want to talk about right in there, get the biggest thing out of the way first. I mean, what do you want to do?
I'm down for it. I'd say we just go down the list that we have here on the doc.
All right. Best game direction. Now, what do you think they're saying this is compared to just overall best game? When they say direction, what do you think they're meaning?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird I don't know, term, I guess you could say. To me, I think of just like the way that everything comes together in the game, like the complete package, I guess, how everything flows. For example, like Super Mario Bros. Wonder is on here, right? To me, I think of the way that the classic really good gameplay of Mario goes right ahead with the new, what's it called? Those little badges, how it fits so perfectly, doesn't feel out of place, proves a good challenge. I don't know. That's kind of what I think of when I think of the direction of the game, But I haven't played. This is going to be a weird one this year so far because I haven't played, let's see, I played a decent amount of Zelda. I haven't beat it. I played Mario. I played like an hour of Spider-Man. Didn't play Baldur's Gate 3, and I played a little bit of Alan Wake 2. So this is a weird year for me in this aspect. So I got to catch up on some of these.
I guess when I think direction, the problem is I could think anything. I think like, okay, are we talking game design, like how the mechanics work? Are we talking about direction in the level of like production values of like how the visuals are, or like visual, audio, and everything all in one? Is it strictly like how a game plays?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the way you're describing there sounds like you're thinking it in the sense of gameplay direction. But
Kind of, yeah. But I understand people don't really all take it that way.
if it's like a director for a movie, right? In no
Right.
way would Mario Wonder, let's say, overpass a
Mm-hmm.
Baldur's Gate 3 or Alan Wake 2, in my opinion. But if we're
Right.
talking pure, if we're talking gameplay mixed with the direction of all, because Mario Wonder levels are incredible. There is a lot of, even in a director and a film sense, there is still a lot of points there, just not as much as I'd give an Alan Wake or Baldur's Gate, for example.
When I look online, like just to get a general idea of what people describe this as, the thing that came up was the creative director or game director in guiding all elements of the title and shaping the final outcome of a game. I guess that's how I've kind of looked at it, in its totality.
So what's the difference between this and Game of the Year then?
That's what I was just going to say next. Is there even a difference of these two?
If not, then are we about to say Rudy's Game of the Year is Super Mario Wonder? Because you just gave it away. If so,
yeah. Well, you know what? I have not. Those other games I haven't played either, so I haven't finished either. So I really don't have any definitive answer yet. Anyway, so
yeah. I'm more just being smartass because I don't get what this category necessarily is getting at. So I'm just going to make an executive decision on they're talking about what a movie director would do. If I'm thinking that, and I'm thinking purely just like, let's say the production values that you're feeding to the player, and I'm gonna think that, and then production per square inch, right? Yep. Let's go. You know what? Tears of the Kingdom production for Square. There's some really, really epic, like the cutscenes that take place, the dragon moments. There are some like whoa, epic, like spectacular moments.
Sure.
So I'm gonna say Baldur's Gate 3 in the sense of, oh wow, when you're watching the characters sort of perform their roles. I'm shocked at how good the quality is there. So I guess my pick's going to be Baldur's Gate 3 if I'm seeing it in this light, because it is really, really, really impressive on when the characters are interacting with each other and just the writing, script play, how great they look, the whole shebang. I think it stills the show. Alan Wake 2 being a close second, and then Zelda being 3, I guess I would say. Anyway, so I'm going to say Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't finished some of these, but if I had to pick right now, honestly, I've only been playing for a few hours, but I think Alan Wake 2 has impressed me the most so far in terms of just its presentation and the mechanics and everything. I don't know, it's so good. So, but that could be that I'm starting a new game, and I feel that way right now, so we'll see.
Yeah, okay. All right, next here, best narrative. Now, this is pretty explanatory. So, the nominees are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, and Final Fantasy 16. Now, Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's after just having played all the stuff leading up to Alan Wake 2, and playing Alan Wake 2 for a few hours, I already think the narrative is incredible. So, yeah, I'm going with that.
So my number 2 would be Baldur's Gate 3. Cyberpunk and Final Fantasy 16, even though I'm whatever on 16, I think its narrative is fantastic. So, like, these are all great picks. The only thing I think doesn't fit here is Marvel Spider-Man 2. I'm sure it's not bad, but, I don't understand how that stacks up to these other guys. I don't know. That's weird. I could definitely think of a better narrative game than Spider-Man 2 that I would stick in its place. So that's weird. Yep. Anyway, all right. Best art direction. Now, where is Cocoon? This is exactly where I put Cocoon.
I know. I agree.
Cocoon would be my winner. Yep. So with that not being the case there, Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Wonder, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. My vote here, Alan Wake 2 again. Best art direction. Talk about some really cool environments, really trippy, really
Sure.
immersive. I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat with its
No,
art
it's
direction.
you're totally right about all that. For me though, the one that really captured my attention the most was Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I love the way that this game looks and plays, and new animations and everything. It's like
It'd be
it's
my
so
number
cool. I
two.
love it.
It'd be my
Yeah.
number two. It's
Oh,
very
they're both
close.
up there for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Hi-Fi Rush, Taken 3. So I mean, these are all great picks. Liza P is really good art direction.
That's true.
But those are all great picks. Those are exactly what I would.
It's a good category.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Best score in music. Now, man, again, it could just be recency bias, but Alan Wake 2 sound design is incredible, especially when you finish a chapter and you get that music playing. Dude, it's so good.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really cool.
But
now
let's see.
Well, I'm not going to give much love to Final Fantasy, but I will say the 10 or so hours of Final Fantasy 16 I played, thought the music was excellent. So I'll give it to them on that one.
I'll say Tears of the Kingdom here.
Okay.
Really, really good score and music there. I think that's the winner that I'd pick here.
There we go.
Okay.
Now, best audio design.
Now, so I'm going to say the one prior is more of like actual musical scores that are taking place, to where this is like thinking sound effects, thinking ambience, all of that stuff. So if that's the case, these are pretty good picks. Alan Wake 2, Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4. My pick's going to go to Dead Space on audio design.
It was really good, wasn't it? I think people are going to be like, "Oh, listen to these Alan Wake 2, the Sack Riders." But honestly,
it's really good.
What I've played so far, the times when you hear things popping in, you hear, like, I don't want to spoil anything, but you have these visions or these sounds you hear real quick. It's sort of in the background.
Well, even the guys that you're fighting against, right? It's almost like Hellblade of like, oh, I can tell somebody's like behind me to the right because they're like, Alan.
Right. I think
so
it's
good.
really impressive. Yeah. So maybe I would pick that, honestly.
Okay. Best performance. So
this is a good one.
Nominees here: Ben Starr as Clive Rosefield from Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
Cameron McCann, I guess is how you would say that, as Cal Kestis in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I really like him. Idris Elba, obviously from Cyberpunk. Man, I can't say any of these names. Melina Libbard as Saga Anderson in Alan Wake 2. She is really good. Neil Newborn as Astrid in Baldur's Gate 3. And Yuri Lorenthal as Peter Parker, Marvel Spider-Man 2. My pick here is actually going to be Baldur's Gate 3 here with Neil Newborn as Astrid. If you've ever played this game, I think he's my favorite voice actor in a game, probably, period.
That's awesome.
He does really, really good work.
Okay. Surprising myself, actually. And again, I think I'm going to pick Ben Starr because, again, there's a lot I don't like about Final Fantasy 16, but I think Clive's character is amazing. It's like one of my favorite protagonists. I think he's really good. So, yeah, I'm going to go with that one.
Yeah, great pick. Innovation and accessibility. Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 6. Now, I'm going Hi-Fi Rush here. I don't think you played it, but its accessibility is really good at there's so many options on showcasing the player when the timing is good, and how you can it's tutorials to get it down, how it teaches the player. That'd be my pick. Forza Motorsport, really close behind that.
Okay. For me, I'm going to go ahead and go with Street Fighter because I'm super impressed at how welcoming they are to new players in this game. They give you so many options to learn how to play, but not only that, just changing options. They even make it where you can press one button and do combinations. It's just seems way more user friendly. You know, even to people who get really serious about learning the combinations and stuff, they like walk you through it very slowly, and they haven't really done it to this extent ever. So yeah, I'll give it to Street Fighter on that one.
Games for Impact. Now, again, what does that mean?
I don't know. I guess
you could take that so many ways.
When I think of games for impact, I don't even know if this is correct or not, but I first think of like games that, you know, left an impression on you, but not only because it had a good story, but like the whole. Okay, so for example, in this list, that game, Chia is there, right?
Yeah.
The reason why that game stayed with me is because I know it's made by like a small team in this country that I had never heard of, and they did a really good job of including like their culture in the game. So then in turn, I ended up learning a lot about it. And I was just really impressed by it. It just stayed with me, right? It's not like it was way better than games this year, but that's kind of why it stayed in my head. So I was like, okay, that's what I would pick. But I don't even know if that's what they're even going for.
Maybe, yeah, maybe you're onto something here of maybe impact is meaning like inclusive to all of these different cultures. Sure. Maybe that's the angle they're taking here, because judging by these nominees, that's what it's looking like here. Because
that's what it sounds like.
A Space for the Unbound, Chance of Sonar, Goodbye Volcano High, Chia, yeah,
I think it's Chia, yeah.
Terra Nil, Venba, Baldur's Gate 3. The problem is I've only played 2 of these, Baldur's Gate 3 and Chia. So between those two, I'm gonna say Baldur's Gate 3, because I mean you can have relations with anything and everything. So that's definitely some inclusivity there. So anyway,
all right.
Best ongoing game: Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Genshin Impact.
All right. Well, so listen, even if I don't play Fortnite, I understand the game will never die. I get it. And Final Fantasy 14, again, I don't play that game, but I know that they support it super heavily and very well through the years. However, I'm going to pick Cyberpunk only because that game, even though we loved it off the bat, had such a bad story, and they kept working on it for 3 or 4 years later. And they came out with an awesome expansion, huge update. So I'll give it to them. I think they deserve some shout out for that, you know?
Yeah, and I'm being biased here, and I'm saying Final Fantasy 14. With my major sticking point being it's been over 10 years now, and they are still releasing new content that is still having me being like very anticipated to see what it is and play it. So the fact they've been going this long, and I'm still excited for the next expansion. When it comes to the sort of pirate theme of the next one, it's just super cool to me. So I can't believe they still got my attention after this long. So that's why I have to give it to them there. So best community support: Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, No Man's Sky.
This seems similar to the last one.
And I would give the same answer. So
yeah, I'll pick Final Fantasy this time.
Best independent game. Now, Dave the Diver, who makes that? Because
there was a whole controversy about this.
Yes, I wanted to see why. Publisher, let's see who they are. I mean, Mint Rocket, I've never heard of them. So what are they getting at here?
I don't know why that people say they're not an indie game. I have no clue.
Okay. Nexon didn't just publish Dave the Diver, but actually developed it. Nexon's gigantic. They're I mean, I don't know if you know MapleStory, but that's its original big thing there. But you're talking billions of dollars, South Korean company. And they have a lot of online games that they support. And I mean, one of the the revenue is $274 billion.
Jesus.
So that makes sense. Yeah, that's far from indie.
Interesting.
All right. Because it's up in here. So we have Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, Viewfinder. Out of these, I mean, I'm just Cocoon. obviously.
Cocoon was so good.
Yeah.
God.
I like Sea of Stars, but the thing is, this game has been so great that Star Ocean, Second Story, with that Super Mario RPG that we're playing now, far exceeds Sea of Stars to me. So, anyway, all right. Best debut indie game. Again, I'm just gonna say Cocoon here and move on. Let's.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Okay. Best mobile game, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Couldn't be more greatly disappointed with that. That was utter trash. I did play a little bit of Star Rail just to see how it was, and Monster Hunter Now, which is also a nominee. Both pretty good. Hello Kitty Island Adventure and Terra Nil as well. So I'm just gonna throw my hat in at Star Rail. I think that's a really impressive mobile game.
I haven't played any of these, so I'm gonna say Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Let's go. Okay. Best VR AR game: Gran Turismo 7, Humanity, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Resident Evil Village, VR mode, and Synapses. I haven't played any of these, so pass.
Yeah, I haven't played them either. I would guess that Village is probably pretty cool in VR, but yeah, no idea.
Yeah. I mean, I've played Gran Turismo 7 in Village, but not in VR. So, best action game: Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. Now, purely action. I'm trying to think. What do we consider action? I guess.
I mean, by the way, I'm kind of shocked at how much Armored Core did not appear in these rankings.
Yeah,
it's a great game.
Because I'm thinking like Mario. Do we consider Mario action? No, we just consider platformer, right? Zelda. Do we consider Zelda action?
It's such a weird category.
Yeah, I don't like this category because it's like, what does that really mean?
I think in their terms, Dead Island probably would be, Armored Core probably would be, Ghost Runner, I think, yeah.
Yeah, of like what they're applying here. I mean, out of just these games, Armored Core 6 is my favorite, so I'm just going to pick that.
Armored Core.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. Best action adventure game?
Ooh.
Alan Wake 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Again, this is too much like a Game of the Year pick, and I want to pass here because
I'm going to pass.
I have a lot of thought on what I want Game of the Year, and I don't want to be given this answer because it feels too close to Game of the Year that I want to save. Best role-playing game. We can do this. Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield. My pick here, Starfield. I mean, I've said on the show prior, I probably dumped about 100 hours over the course of 2 months of playing. Absolutely love it. Still have yet to finish it. Still don't, I don't want to just rush to see the credits because I'm too busy inside of a certain, mission or a planet exploring, and I want to take as much time as it possibly can take me. As long as I'm enjoying it, I'm going to keep the pace I'm going here. But I've been sucked in this world more than these other games here, and I think it's a phenomenal RPG. In terms of if you're just thinking RPG systems in a game, my vote is Starfield here.
Fair enough. Well, just by default, I've only played Final Fantasy, so I'm going to go ahead and pick Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, and that's the problem, though, is like that is a very weak in the RPG sense. It's strong in its narrative, it's strong in its action, but like I don't think it's strong in its RPG. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Best fighting game: God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, which I need to play Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. I hear a lot of really great things. Apparently, they really stepped it up. Pocket Bravery, Street Fighter 6.
I didn't even know they made Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2.
It came out a week or two ago, pretty recently.
Okay.
And they basically just added a single-player campaign. They super upped the quality of like characters talking and their animations, and just you can tell they have a lot more money, and
Okay.
it looks pretty impressive.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm gonna go with Street Fighter 6. Great game. Just the best iteration of a Street Fighter I've seen today. So yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played any of these, so I don't know. Outside looking in, it would be between Street Fighter 6 and Mortal Kombat 1, and I would want to play them to see which. No, well, I did play Street Fighter 6, but I haven't played Mortal Kombat 1. So, of what I've seen, I think Mortal Kombat 1 looks a little more impressive to me, but again, I haven't actually felt it, so how would I know? So, it's a little weird there. So, best family game, Disney Illusion Island, Party Animals, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Now, Super Mario Bros. Wonder wins here, but not in best family game. If you're thinking in a family setting of playing multiplayer, Super Mario Wonder falls off hard. I don't think its multiplayer is well done at all, because who's ever basically won the crown for the previous level, that's whose character the screen follows. So I've been playing with my kid, but it's been really terrible experience playing co-op in it, and I just go back to single player. I actually think the way New Super Mario Bros. Did a better job at handling this multiplayer than Wonder is.
I agree with that.
So I honestly would say Pikmin 4, even though you're not playing. I mean, you can play another person to play with you, and they can do extra things, but they don't have like full control. But the multiplayer mode that's there, that Dandora battles, is so fun, and I play that with my son all the time. And I'm definitely gonna pick Pikmin 4 here.
Very cool. All right, I'll probably go with Wonder.
Okay.
After all, I did play some multiplayer, and it was fun.
Best sim strategy game: Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, City Skyline 2, Company Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, Pikmin 4. This is very hard for me. I'm in between Advance Wars 1 and 2, Fire Emblem Engage, Pikmin 4. Company Heroes is great, but I haven't played 3, but I played 1 and 2 and used to be really into them. But man, Pikmin 4 is really, really good. But so are the other two. All three of those, in my opinion, are top class. Like, am I giving 10 out of 10? I don't know. But they're at least all three above 9s, in my opinion. And I think they're all super well done. Primal Engage is a little meh in like its overall story. But man, is it still just so good? It doesn't matter.
It's a hard one. I mean, I've played Advance Wars, the older ones. I didn't play the reboot ones, but if they're anything like the originals, I'd say they're probably way up there. Yeah,
it's they've done so many great quality of life things though, and this awesome. It's like what's the company? They do a lot of Way Forward, and
gotcha.
They did really, really good with that. I'm I guess Pikmin 4, but man, Fire Emblem, dude. Don't sleep on Fire Emblem Engage. I know the characters look stupid with the blue and look like toothpaste or something, but it's. Ugh. But I'm gonna go with Pikmin 4. I think they just, I don't know, Nintendo at their top. Okay,
sure.
Best sports racing game: EA Sports FC 24, F1 23, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, Turbocharged, and the Crew Motorfest. And I'm just going to default to Forza Motorsport here.
Yeah, I'm just going by default back. I have not played these.
Best multiplayer, presented by Discord. Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I'm going to go with Diablo 4 here. I'm still playing it. I played it 2 days ago. I have a friend coming over. We play it about once or twice a week, and it's just been a thing we've been doing since it came out, and it's perfect couch co-op game. And
very cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Street Fighter 6. They made the netcode so good at this one, and the rollback online component of it just works so well. It's like perfectly flawless, no issues, and it's super fun. There's some cool modes too. So yeah, give it to them.
Okay. Best adaptation. This makes sense to me though. Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, Twisted Metal, and that's not the case there.
It's in there, right?
Yeah. So yes, Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, Super Mario Bros. Movie, and Twisted Metal. Now, I was pleasantly surprised by Twisted Metal. This is actually good picks. The only one I would say no would be Gran Turismo. Like, no, it can't compete to the others. The others, though, are phenomenal adaptations.
That's good stuff. Ooh. This is hard for me, but I'm gonna go with The Last of Us because I just was so impressed.
Really good. I was really
with
impressed.
It was a whole show, like 8 episodes or whatever it was. HBO, high quality. So
HBO at its best at that.
Not to say that the other ones were not good, obviously, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with.
I was so pleased with the Mario movie.
It was great. So much fun.
I think this is just going to come down to objectivity biased here. I mean, yes, technically they all do, but I'm gonna say Castlevania. I was just too nerding out the entire time watching it. I was too impressed by it, and it's just up my alley more than the others are. So Castlevania Nocturne.
All right. Yeah. All right. Well, next up, most. Go ahead. You got it.
Most anticipated game. Another biased here. It's going to be pretty automatic here. But we got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws. First of all, I don't know about that Star Wars Outlaws. The rest of these I can see.
I don't know
Tekken
much about
8. Anyway, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, duh. Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm Final Fantasy Rebirth, of course.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Super pumped.
Content Creator of the Year. I don't know any of these people.
I don't know any of these people either.
We're old. Iron Mouse. People Make Games. Quackity. Spreen. Cypher PK. I'm just going to go with my favorite name here, and I take Iron Mouse. I think that's a cool name.
I'm going to go with Quackity. I don't know why, just because.
Best esports game, Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, PUBG Mobile, Valor. Now, I want to spin off a little bit. Counter-Strike 2. I forgot to mention in previous episodes that I tried playing this because when it came out, I was like, oh, cool, I installed it. And I was like, okay, next week I'll get my thoughts. Well, every time I play this game, it's just a technical mess. I don't know. I mean, maybe if you had some really fast SSD, maybe it could help, but I don't. Basically, it's another example of those games where the shader cache is just a whole fucking thing with this game, and it's like you have to play a map multiple times before it's not skippy when you play, and it's like, so I'm supposed to dedicate about 4 hours of getting this game to be good before I can enjoy it, and it's like, no, I don't have patience, so. I just needed to mention that as an aside. Like, I can't. Anyway, game sucks and its technicalities there. I don't care about any of these.
Me neither. I'll go with Counter-Strike 2 because people were excited about it. I don't know.
Pass. Game of the Year. Here we are. Now, this is just who we think is actually going to win. Now, recent bias, I feel, always plays a gigantic part. So there's a good chance Alan Wake 2 could win on this. But
I agree.
Baldur's Gate is still a game that people are also playing constantly. So there's a lot of still recent biasy with that as well. So
that is true, but I think Zelda definitely still has a shot of winning it for sure. People have not forgotten about it.
Somebody's trying to call me. Okay. All right. Who do I think is going to win? I think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win.
I think it might be Zelda, honestly, that's going to win.
I mean, I hope so. That'd be cool. Between those two, at least, I'd want Zelda. Yeah. Okay. Now, I want to get into another thing before we continue on. Of Game of the Year here. I saw a statistic, and it's been making the rounds a lot of, well, one, initially people are like, where's Starfield, right? And that's what stirs all this up. And they're like, well, an Xbox game hasn't been nominated for a Game of the Year. I think it's been something like 20 years or something insane. Let me see what. Here we go. Since Halo 3. So, people, there's obviously that camp of initial of like, well, because they can't make any good games and they suck making games. That's why. Now, you can easily discount this argument because there's still plenty of good. I mean, you're talking Gears 5 being phenomenal. You're talking Forza game being phenomenal. They still make great games. Like even Halo Infinite is looking in really good spots here, stuff like that. I think that's a pretty poor argument there. Maybe they don't make like as many, but the fact of not getting a single one since Halo 3, I don't think this speaks anything to do with it. Just the fact it's Halo or Xbox, and people are just hating on Xbox. I think the reality is what usually wins Game of the Year are those third-person action adventure games, right? You're talking an Uncharted and a Last of Us, Spider-Man. That's usually what is taking the crown here, right? Zelda also can fit in that camp. But I'm thinking it's always that adventure of a third-person camera behind you kind of mindset, and that's what usually just takes the cake. And Xbox doesn't really make many of those. And I think that's why it never gets into this category. Because I can't think, like, this Game of the Year here. I love Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I am in no way expecting that to win. I can't see a 2D platformer winning. I just can't. Even though that game could be much better than these other nominees here. And that's why I'm getting to the greater point. I think that's why Xbox doesn't get thrown, because the style game, like in Hi-Fi Rush, I think it's a phenomenal title, but it's just not Game of the Year. Just how people see these games. For whatever reason, it's always in this vein of this third-person action-adventure game, like a God of War.
Yeah, I totally agree. Oh man, it's
like Pentiment, for example, right? Obviously, the game is phenomenally developed. Should be getting awards left and right, but it's not very Game of the Year.
Right, even though it got rated very high, right? I get what you're saying.
So that's my theory there on that discussion. So I wanted to mention that. You have any theories of why you think just Xbox? You think it? What do you think? Of why?
I mean, I think that could be part of it, but I also think yes, they've had some good games, but their volume of these games that are like people are all talking about maybe isn't as high as it could be or has been in the past. So
I don't think it's as high as a volume of a Nintendo, but in terms of like PlayStation, Xbox, PlayStation has like 2 or 3 big games a year. Xbox has about 1 or 2, right? So it's less, but it's not like much less. I think once you think Nintendo, you're picking like 6 big games, and that's usually the case there. But I don't think it's that much less than like when Demon's Souls came out that initial year, right? What was another big PS5 exclusive? I don't think there was one.
That was at the very beginning, right? That was a launch title?
That was at the end, because the system came out like October, November, somewhere around there, right? There wasn't a next big PlayStation till next year, right? When you
It
had
was
the
Ratchet and Clank a few months later, yeah.
What was that, February, March kind of area there.
But I guess the system came out in November, right? So it's like, yeah, of course you're not gonna have many big exclusives in the first month, I guess.
So I'm trying to think that year, and then the year, what is it? You had Gran Turismo 7 and Ratchet and Clank, and then Returnal. So you had those
I don't
three.
remember. Returnal, yeah.
So if you look on the Xbox side of what came out that year would be, when did Forza Motorsport 5? What's another? What year is that? 2020?
2020 it came out, right?
The systems came out 2020?
I believe so.
Why don't we know this? When did PS5 release?
Pretty sure it did.
Okay, 2020. So, top Xbox games 2021. Let's see here. Yeah, Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite. I'm trying to find the actual exclusives. It's listing everything.
Gotcha.
But I think it's just that. I think it's just those two.
Gotcha.
Death's Door, but I wouldn't consider, like, that's not what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Again, with Sable, but that's not what we're talking about here. Those wouldn't win Game of the Year. So the only two that could would be that. But again, Halo Infinite had its problems that release. So the only one who even should have is Forza Horizon 5. Now, is that deserving? I think so. But there's just, again, racing is not as exciting as a God of War. So I think that's the problem there, right? So then you go 2022. Again, Pentiment, super strong. Tunic, super strong, in my opinion. I think that actually...
Great game.
Yeah. Immortality, I loved. I was gigantic component of that.
I gotta play that one.
High on Life, gigantic component of that as well. So you have those, but again, not quite when you look like PlayStation, right? What's 2022 PlayStation? God of War Ragnarok, Forza Horizon, Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7. So those three are going to hit harder so I think PlayStation take the thing there. So it's about what I was saying. 1 to 2 on Xbox, more like 3 on PlayStation each year. And then that's what I'm saying. And like, I think neither of them come close when it comes to Nintendo's output.
Yeah, Nintendo just crushes them, yeah.
But anyway, thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that is.
I don't see Xbox. The only way they could be in that Game of the Year discussion, it's gonna that Hellblade. That's the only type of game I could see where it sort of Unreal Engine 5 narrative, third-person action game that fits all the criteria. So next year, I'd say that's probably their biggest chance of hitting that because. Even a Starfield, it's very Bethesda, very, 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 very Bethesda in all of its ways of Bethesda-ness. And I don't think that also caters to a Game of the Year sort of discussion. So yeah, I think Hellblade's the only chance they got if they want to make a statement next year in terms of a Game of the Year discussion. Fable could. And
Fable could do it if it turns out really good. Yeah.
So they have those two next year. Now, what is Xbox 2024 games? And we gotta do exclusive because we're just getting everything. Oh, Stalker 2. That also could have a chance. Valve, that also could have a chance. Actually, so they're gonna have 4 games next year that are going to actually finally have a good chance to win a Game of the Year discussion. So they got that.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they get all 4 of those. That'd be huge.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Nintendo. Do we even know anything coming next year, Nintendo? I think because the new system coming, we just don't know anything because they don't want to drop any
Yeah.
games.
Just the
And
Peach game is the only thing I think.
they want to blow people's minds when they drop
Yep.
that, system
Oh,
trailer
yeah.
and they have all of these, next gen Nintendo titles. So I think that's why we don't know on that front. Okay. I don't know. You can take the next one or two or however.
Sure. So Shantae Advanced Risky Revolution. Man, I remember these games have been coming out for a long time. That was arguably the most interesting title to come from the latest Indie World Showcase, November 14th. Developer Way Forward began development on the game 20 years ago and never completed it. Next year, the game will finally make its way to Switch, but retain the Game Boy Advance aesthetic it was always meant to have. That's pretty cool. Those games have, in general, been pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, and then also Amazon Games lays off 180 employees. Crown Channel and Amazon-affiliated Twitch channel will be eliminated in the process. Well, that sucks. People losing their jobs is never pleasant, but Amazon Games, I don't even know the last time I heard anyone say that phrase, Amazon Games.
Well, it was those two games, New World and the one prior to that. That's slipping my mind right now. It was
I know what you're talking about.
Actually the one after it, and it was more of an action oriented. They were both actually got pretty big and popular and made them a lot of money.
They did. Yep.
But yeah, 108 employees is just a lot. Now, it also is Amazon though, so it's probably actually pretty small in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I would think so.
But 505 Games parent company Digital Bros is laying off 30% of its staff. 505 Games is the publisher behind titles like Ghost Runner 2, Control, Death Stranding on PC, and Payday 2. So the continued trend that has been happening all this year is people getting laid off, and which is, I guess companies are seeing other companies doing is like, well, now's a good time as ever. I'm just going to join the conversation because it's going to look even worse if I'm out of the pocket. Might as well just do it while I'm in the pocket and get rid of people I've been trying to get rid of this whole time. That's really what I'm imagining here, because it's too many at this point. It's far beyond coincidence.
Crazy. Well, and it just keeps going. I mean, even the next story is 505 Games parent company Digital Bros laying off 30% of its staff. 505 Games is the publisher behind titles like Ghost Runner 2, Control, Death Stranding on PC, and Payday 2. So, yeah, more layoffs. That sucks. That's a decent amount, too. 30%? I mean, I guess it depends how many staff they have total, but, yeah, large percentage.
I mean, they're a pretty big publisher, so I would imagine that's a pretty big cut, actually.
Sure. All right.
You can take this next.
Sure. Next up, we're thrilled to announce that we're working on a mod editor for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. It will allow you to create your own experiences in the game by making something completely new or editing existing quests and content. Planning on releasing it for free in 2024. Stay tuned. We'll have more to share next year. I mean, this is cool for console people. I know people on PC have already been doing this for a while, probably. So yeah. I don't,
even still on PC, to have it all in one place that's official through the game, I think does make a difference. And
I agree.
Let's say you, for example, I don't see you searching the internet for mods.
Yeah, I don't.
But let's say you were playing Witcher 3 on your PC, you just really badly want to play, and I could see you downloading mods through the launcher, being like, oh, this looks cool, and just clicking it and going.
I agree.
So I think this still helps, and even in the PC realm.
Agreed.
I'm just more of, this game's old, 2014, 2015. I've tried to play it numerous times. I still want to play it, but it's just not that exciting to me, because it's just I don't know. I'd rather play something new.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm not going to tell they shouldn't do this. They should. But it just doesn't super excite me, because it's just a title.
Right. Yeah. Makes total sense. Speaking of, go ahead. You can do the next one.
The Last of Us. Honestly, I thought. Anyway, Last of Us Part 2 Remastered for PS5 confirmed for January 2024. So they tweeted, updated. Shortly after a leak confirmed its existence, Naughty Dog officially revealed The Last of Us Part 2 remaster for PS5 on Friday evening, confirming the release date as well, January 19th. The Last of Us Part 2 remaster comes to PS5 featuring no return roguelike mode, lost levels with the dev commentary, guitar-free play, graphical enhancements, DualSense integration, and more. Now, I don't hate on this because of two things. One, I remember hating when we'd get a PS5 version, but on Xbox, when it would get updated when it comes to Xbox Series X and S upgrade for a game. We just got it. It was free. They patched it, did whatever, made it, but they didn't charge the gamers, where PlayStation they have been. Right? So that's why I've always been like, man, this is stupid. Why are we getting charged for this? Should just, you got a new system thing. But $10 is not that much. And they're actually adding content here. This is the big difference. If they weren't, and it was just graphics and nothing more, I'd be like, I'm good. Right? $10 though to play a no return roguelike mode, I'll pay $10 for that.
Yeah, it's not too bad at all.
So I'm cool with this, actually.
Yeah, I agree. I just want them to bring it to PC so bad so I can play both of them on PC now.
Yeah, why ain't that? I mean, I guess maybe it is coming to PC later. Let's see. Let's read the rest of this. Notably, those who already own The Last of Us Part 2 on PS4 will be able to upgrade to a digital version of The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered on PS5 for $10. Save files will also be able to be imported into the Part 2 Remastered. Now, hopefully, since it's been about a year since they've done this, any prior ones, you literally had to download the PS4 game, save the file, download the PS5 version to do some transfer thing to the new file, and you had to download both games for some reason. Hopefully they can actually figure this out to where you don't have to download the PS4 game just to transfer a save file. However, Naughty Dog clarified that upgrades for disc copies of the PS4 version are only available if you have a PS5 with a disc drive. Owners of the PS4 disc copies must insert them into the PS5 every time they want to download or play the PS5 digital version. So if you end up buying a PS5 digital only, but you had a physical of the last, you'd have to buy again. But I mean, that kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you're screwed if you have one without a disc drive, if you bought it.
Yeah. But that I mean, the same on any
the same deal.
Even on Xbox, right. Okay, I have a Series S. I can't put it in a disc, so I'm just not going to have access to my back catalog, if anything, disc-wise. But I don't understand, how would anybody be able to solve that? I don't know how you would do that. So it makes sense. I'm cool there. $10 I'm cool with because I'm getting more content. A game just looking better and running better, I don't think you should charge based off of playing it on a newer system. Nintendo, though, they charge full price. But I'm trying to think. Well, okay, what's one that people have a problem with of going like Wii U to Switch, for example? What, Mario Kart 8? But they added so much content.
Yeah, Mario Kart 8, maybe not. Maybe there are some other ones, though.
But was there one to where they just, what?
Maybe Skyward Sword? Did they do anything to Skyward Sword? They gave it a remaster a little bit, I guess.
But the problem is, that game is infinitely better, in my opinion, because you don't have to do the motion controls. And reworking those controls, I think, is pretty massive. The other companies are in that boat because they didn't have motion control only system, right? So it's like, how can you really compare? I think that's just too different there. And so I consider that new content, if they have to go through and rework a game that was only motion controlled and making it work with controls, I think that's actually takes a lot of work. So I guess it all goes to the root of, if they put in a ton of work outside of just making it look better and run better, I think you should charge for it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's kind of how I see that.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't think it's worth it, I just don't buy it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what it is, you know.
um, Last of Us Part One, the remake there. That was, as we discussed a million times. Well, you have a PS4 version or PS3. You remaster it for PS4. They then remake the game, PS3. But what do they remake? This isn't like Resident Evil 4 remake. This isn't like Dead Space remake. This isn't like Final Fantasy 7 remake. This still is just the same game, but just looking better and running better. So I think I'm still in that consistent camp of you got to do more than that to make me want to play it again. Um, Cyberpunk makes me want to play it again because I have a lot of stuff. Forget me playing the expansion, right? They reworked that game, brought it to 2.0. Game plays entirely different, tons of new content along the way. Now I'm wanting to replay it again. So that's what brings me to these games is adding something more to it than just
Yeah, yeah. I think I'll probably pass on this for now, but when it comes to PC, I might check it out. Check that new mode out and everything, So, but I want to replay the whole game.
I'm curious what that exactly is.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I could imagine it, right? It's like you're just playing through maps with like a lot of zombies, right? And they just get harder and harder as you go. But you also get crazier and crazier like weapons that you can use against them the longer you go. Like I could totally see how this works and sounds pretty fun. I'd want to play it.
So. Yeah, no, I would definitely want to check it out too. So sounds good.
Let's get into what we're watching, what we're playing.
All right, so finally made it to Alan Wake 2. I played. I guess I didn't write it here, but I finished the. So I had already talked about beating Alan Wake, which I really enjoyed. I played the 2 DLC chapters. It had been years since I played Control, so I watched a whole recap of the story of Control first. Then I played the latest DLC, which I thought was really good. I thought it was very cool how they did the whole thing with Emil Hartman. And I was actually reading every little notice this time. When I played through Control, I didn't read every notice. I kind of just like was over it. But this time around, I was looking at every note, and it was like really fascinating seeing all these people that I know already. And so what I did after I beat that was, sorry, I also forgot to mention, I also played American Nightmare, which I thought was pretty good. Although
the whole Control DLC, before we move on too far, because I do want to ask. I mean, 1 to 10, where you throw in like what's your overall experience with that?
I thought it was fantastic. I thought I would give like a 10. I thought it was so good, and it was so much fun. It made me really want to. I didn't care for the side stuff because it's just like doing side stuff for Ati. I don't know if that really even adds anything to the lore. Probably not. But I just didn't really feel like doing it. I just kind of mainline the main story. So maybe a 9 then in that case. But I thought it was so fun to play Control again. It feels so good to play that game again, and it looked great. So that was all awesome. It made me have more of an appreciation for Control, I think, than I did the first time, which I liked it, but now I like love it. And I also did American Nightmare, which I liked, but I was a little tired of like the whole loop thing, even though it was getting shorter every time. So I did all of that, right? Played all that. And then I watched this really long 1.5-hour video that is like a timeline of Control, Alan Wake, American Nightmare, even the prequel YouTube video you can watch, which I watched. Just like everything all together. They cover everything in so much detail. It was really cool. It was cool how it's so genius, actually, how Remedy puts them all together.
I didn't watch that 1.5-hour one, but I watched a 45-minute one, a 30-minute one. I watched like 4 different ones, but I know which one you're talking about. I want to say Mario shared it in the Facebook group as well. But I'm asking because did they get into Max Payne stuff? Because any of the ones I watched didn't get into any Max Payne things. Because
no, they didn't.
When I'm playing Alan Wake 2, they definitely are doing Max Payne things. So I would really love to know Now I want to play. Now I want to play Max Payne.
Yeah, I gotta do the same. But
Anyway.
I watched the whole video. I feel like I had a really good understanding of everything now. And so I started Alan Wake 2. And man, even that first 5 minutes of the intro, I was like, wow, what the heck am I even playing here? This is crazy. Man, the
we'll go ahead and
presentation
say,
is
because
so
right when it
nice.
starts, it's just naked guy walking along shoreline.
Yeah,
right.
pretty much. Yep,
It's pretty intense, weird stuff going on.
Very, very weird, intense. So where do I start? So actually, let me get the one negative thing out of the way.
Okay.
I've tried to mess around with all the settings. I found something that works for me. I can put everything on ultra, but I turned off ray tracing completely, and it runs really well and it looks really good. Like I was messing with ray tracing, but it slowed things down. Everything. I was like, you know what? Let me not even mess with it. So I turned it off. The one issue I keep having, and when I looked online, apparently people on console are having this issue too, is when you look at certain text or like the map specifically, it doesn't render right away. It's really annoying. Like I'll pull up the map, it'll be like, it looks like, a fifth grade kindergartner wrote it, and then it'll pop up.
So what that is what we've been having with other stuff. It's that shader cache.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm so tired of this problem.
It's annoying
when it comes to anything current. It's good.
Yeah. So hopefully it doesn't become a bigger problem, but that is literally my only only negative thing I can say.
I had it so bad to where I died, loaded back, and the ground was like higher than me and like up to my chest. So I'm in some like grass texture that's up to my chest, but I'm supposed to be running on it. And I was like, what the hell? And after like 10 seconds, it fixed itself because it just didn't load the ground correctly. I'm like, dude.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll say I instantly liked the characters. I thought they were very good, especially the main character. The way that they introduced the mechanics of the game, they really do it very slowly, but it's very well done. It's not too slow. It's not too fast. You really understand. It's a lot, the whole mind space place, putting up the evidence. I thought that was all really well done. I love how the game, as you're playing it, there's no HUD at all, just completely blank. And then obviously when you actually have action, it pops up. I love that it's like a dynamic HUD. That's really cool. The game looks amazing. I think it's also just the environment and everything. It's so spooky and creepy. I just love it, man. It's so good. I love everything that's happening so far. By the way, I watched IGN's review for about 5 minutes, and they spoiled so much stuff. I'm like, I'm so mad I watched this. Why are you telling me like key points in the story? Why? Like I don't understand. Yeah, it's really annoying. Like something that happened in the morgue that I didn't know was going to happen wasn't a surprise for me anymore, which really sucks. And
which was a really cool scene, by the way.
Yeah, I'm like so annoyed about that.
And they Quantum Break, dude.
Yeah.
Wait,
so hold on. Am I supposed to know something about the fact that the guy who was the sheriff is literally the same guy from Quantum Break?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know the answer to this. Okay, so that's why I'm willingly just saying it.
Because there's no way they didn't think of that when they put him in there,
Come on. Right? That's what I kept saying. I was like, there's definitely got to be something that happens.
I assume so. We'll have to see. But yeah, man, I'm loving it so far. I think it's
now where are you at exactly?
I am on chapter, I think there was chapter 0, then 1, then I'm on chapter 2 now.
Have you
with Saga? I went to the hut, the witch's hut.
Put I mean, back in there. We'll say it here. Yeah, you switch between two characters.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, I do know.
So you haven't switched the other character yet.
I haven't played with the other character yet. Although, again, the last thing I saw from the IGN review that really annoyed me is the way in which you're introduced back to that character. They mention it real quick, but it's just annoying to know that. Like, man, why are you putting that in a review? That's so dumb. So dumb. So, but all that being said, obviously I don't think I ruined it for myself. I think there's still a lot that I don't know, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's all technically surface level stuff. I mean,
it is.
What they actually get into goes far deeper than any of that anyway.
Man, I can't wait. I'm just playing, like, it's so weird. When I was playing the other Alan Wake games, I was enjoying them, but I was always thinking like, okay, how much longer do I have this game? I don't care. It could be as long. I'm like exploring everything. I'm trying to look for all this stuff. I love the way they're doing the manuscript pages where you find them, and the whole like Inception like thing going on where you're reading the manuscript.
I mean, I could listen to his voice.
Oh, it's like so cool.
24/7. It's so well performed. So I even I like just like going to the reading the pages and
Oh,
having
the
him just
screen
read them
where it
aloud, or
Yep.
any of the you'll get through as you play the game, you'll get like new videos you can watch on the TV in your Mind
I saw
Palace
that
and
too.
stuff like that. So
Yep. I
all of
think
that's
it's
great.
really, really well done. I think the whole mind place thing is such a cool idea, and I like how it doesn't pause the game, so it's like, you know, a little risky when you go in there. The only thing, and I'm not even going to call this a negative, it's just I have to get more used to it. But there's been a few times where I'm like not sure where to go, and it doesn't really give you any sort of indication. The map doesn't seem that helpful to me, to be honest.
I'm having a hard time with this game.
Yeah.
With that, and it only gets harder as you play. But I don't know. It goes back to
It's all right though. Yeah.
I want to say Chia, to where
Oh yeah.
it's almost a good thing that it doesn't really tell you where to go. It ends up working in its favor the more you play, because you start to memorize the areas more, and they become a lot more important. If I was just looking at a mini map, seeing exactly where to go, I don't think I would see as much of it. So
I agree.
I think it can come with its pros.
Yeah, so I gotta say, this game is one that's I was away this weekend, and the whole time was like, man, I can't wait to play. I can't wait to play. Even when you said when we were recording, I was gonna play, and I'm like, you know what? Let me record first so I can just play tonight for a while, because I'm really, really, it's on my mind all day. So I can't wait to see what happens. How far are you? What chapter? Oh, I know the chapters go back and forth.
5.
Okay.
Now, this is me just guessing, because it says end of a. Does it say end of a chapter? I forget what it says. Something.
I think it does.
End of a scene, something like that. And it's happened to me at least 4 times. I could be on 6 instead of 5, but I want to say at least 5.
Okay. All right. Very cool.
Well, one of
I'm
them
excited,
being
man.
incredibly short, though. But it made sense of why it ended. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
Man, the Alan Wake stuff, I don't know what's better, like the Alan Wake stuff, or because it almost feel like entirely different games. The Alan Wake stuff feels like feels a lot more control than when you're playing Sage. That's feeling more like classic Alan Wake, as funny as that is. So yeah.
I can't wait, man.
Also, there's a lot of Max Payne stuff when you're playing with Alan Wake as well. So super cool.
Very cool.
So it like merges. I don't know how they do it. They do it so it's like merging Max Payne stuff with control stuff is like when you're playing Alan Wake is the vibe there, and then when you're playing Sage, it feels like you're playing Alan Wake 1.
Gotcha. All right, very cool.
All right. So you didn't start Super Mario RPG?
I didn't. I'm gonna hold off until I'm gonna beat Alan Wake first, I think.
Yeah. You're good to do so. Super Mario RPG, I mean, let me put this. I was worried going into this because I could tell when I'm seeing videos and stuff, I was like, I don't know if I'm completely won over by its art style. Plus, I feel it's going to be, I'm a little bummed that it's too much like the original game, and I wish they took it a little further whenever I was seeing it before I actually played it. But now that I'm deep into the game, and, well, I'll talk on something else later, but I'm deep into it now. I'm like 5-6 hours in, and I'm happy that it's 1-for-1 of the original game, because I forgot just how charming and good the original game is. And if they were to have changed it, it could have definitely been for the worse. And it hits so hard and so good consistently that I'm like, no, okay, I think this was the right path to take. Only because the game's just so damn good. Because again, you're talking Square Enix at its prime. Well, not even Square Enix. You're just talking Squaresoft. Because you're talking like right after they drop Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger. This is their sort of last hurrah. This along with that Live Alive until they went over to the next generation. And you can totally tell when you're playing this. I mean, like it's consistently high the entire time. Hilarious writing. I mean, when you play the other Mario RPGs after the fact, I mean, Paper Mario and Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, along with the Square Enix stuff of just they've been good stories and good writing, and that's what makes these JRPGs so good. But like that pocket of it. It feels like what from Final Fantasy VI to Final Fantasy VII, that era of like late Super Nintendo to I would say midway through Super Nintendo to midway through PS1 is like they couldn't be any better of like what they output. And Super Mario RPG just fits in there perfectly, and it couldn't be any better. And nothing ever feels like I'm going too long without the next big moment happening. It's hitting really quick. It's the same praise I give to Alan Wake 2. It hits pretty quick quite often. The only times it doesn't is if you're lost in the map trying to figure out, well, where do I go next? You'll have those lulls. You never hit that lull with Super Mario RPG because it's the clearest day where you need to go next. And like there'll be multiple paths when you're going over from one area to the next. But if you go the wrong way, I never just like hit a dead end without there being something there. There's at least going to be a treasure or a cool side boss thing or a cool equipment item you can find. So you always kind of want to. If I know for sure this is the right path to go, I'll turn around and then go the other path just to find all those extra items and stuff. So it's that type of game. I'm exploring every bit of these maps, and I want to do so. And it stays consistently fun doing so. The battle system is like, I think maybe better here than even Paper Mario's, because just like when you're playing Paper Mario, if you time those hits right, that's the whole fun of the mechanic.
Yeah.
But blocking is so fun with this game because they added this. This wasn't in the original game. And I thought this was a really good improvement, is when you block an attack, you create a chain, right? And so you can have a chain block and attack. So, okay, they attack me. I block it just in time. I get 1 on the counter. I then go to attack them. I get it right on the money. I get 2 on my counter. And the higher your combo goes of timing it perfectly, the better your character becomes. So it really rewards you. I'll have like a 20 combo, and now I'm hitting really hard. I'm defending where I don't get any damage towards me at all. I'm pouring points into this gauge that I can then do a super with once it's at 100 because of my combos building. So there's a lot of incentive to get this combo up. Meaning you're at like 30, you're like, oh my God, after about, 5 to 10 minutes of keeping this combo as you're going from one area to the next, you even more don't want to lose it because it's so high. And then you mess up one time and you're all the way back down to 0. There's no like leeway. There's no like, oh, we'll give you another shot. No, you have to be perfect every time or you lose it all, kind of thing. So it becomes really fun in that level. So
I'm looking forward to playing
it's such just the perfect of like art style, presentation. They added cutscenes now. I think it looks far better than I thought it was going to be once you actually like are playing it. I think it looks a lot better than what I thought based off of the YouTube videos I saw. I can't think of a single negative thing to say about this game. And this is going to be a real, like by the time I beat this, then I have to sort of rework my whole, like, all right, what am I doing game of the year? Because this is now a contender very easily at that. I mean, it's definitely deserving of the conversation. So
I'm excited. I'm excited to jump in and play. Excuse me. I honestly was kind of tempted to buy it because I have this trip coming up on the plane. I was like, man, I could just play it on the plane, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait a little bit. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna get it eventually though. So that's 2 Nintendo games I need to get at some point when I free up. Super Mario RPG and Pikmin 4. So
yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Not much coming out.
Nintendo, dude, is making it. I was just thinking so hard. Like they're the winner of 2023 in my head. Because he's just thinking like Zelda, the Super Mario RPG, to Mario Wonder, to Pikmin 4, and it's just like, dear God. I'm forgetting another major one here. Also, before we end this episode, I was just about to say, what was a Metroid Prime Remaster was another like huge banger. So I wanted to throw a new category. If we were to say best remakes of 2023, that should have been a category. There's plenty of titles at this point to do that.
I agree.
So if you're thinking Dead Space, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario RPG, what's one I'm forgetting here? I feel like I just said it.
Well, anyway, if it was me, I'd pick Resident Evil 4. Even though Dead Space is really
Metro
great.
Prime, Metro Prime Remastered.
Metro Prime Remastered.
Yeah. So yeah, between all those, you're saying Resident Evil 4?
That's what I would go with. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, only because I'm now hugely deep into the Super RPG. I think that it's better than Dead Space and RE4 and whatever we were just saying that I already totally forgot. Anyway, but yeah, I think that could have been a category. I'm surprised it wasn't.
I agree.
Maybe then they would have been like, well, if we have that category, then we can't actually put it in with the rest. I've never been in this train of thought that we need to separate remakes or remasters. I remember when we were doing that Game of the Year discussion with everybody. What was that, last year or the year before? I don't even remember now.
Oh,
and
yeah, I remember that.
Whole discussion of like remake, remaster. Do you think it matters? I think whether it's a remake or not, it deserves to be, if it's good enough, it deserves to be in the talks. I think
it should definitely be in the talks. I just think that, yeah, sometimes there's a difference between what's going on. Like this Last of Us remaster, for example, I wouldn't put anywhere in the same category as like, I don't know, Resident Evil 4 remake or something, you know?
Yeah, but that's just because it's a very similar experience. And thus you're like, I kind of already been there, done that. But Resident Evil 4 remake is not been there, done that.
Right.
So that makes it worthwhile in the conversation. I don't think it's a fact of, remake shouldn't be allowed. I just think to what quality it brings to the table, just like any other game in the category. You know, that's where I'm going there. So like again, when we were debating the whole Nier, it's a phenomenal game. And there's obviously tons of improvements and new additions that make it like worthwhile again. So it deserves part of the conversation. That's how I always see that. Super Mario RPG, I say it's incredibly close to the in terms of its script and in terms of its maps of like what you're exploring. But again, the original game did not have that gauge system and combo system. That's a huge thing when you're talking about an RPG with a whole new gameplay layer on top of it. I think it makes a world of difference. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Okay.
We don't really have much coming out, huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, we're definitely hitting the end of the year now.
Yeah.
We got Dune Spice Wars on Xbox Series X and S, November 28th, and Rollerdrome on Xbox Series X and S, November 28th, which Rollerdrome was PlayStation and PC, wasn't on Xbox. When that drops on Xbox, just know it's also dropping Game Pass. So if you got it and you don't have a PlayStation or PC to play Rollerdrome, obviously play it. We both loved it. I think that is a very 10 out of 10 experience of just Tony Hawk versus, what? Like, what's a like high pace shooter? I don't know what that would even.
Wait. Are you thinking of a Rollerdrome?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You're comparing. I see what you mean.
It's like Rollerdrome is like Tony Hawk and a third person shooter. But I was thinking, what is a fast paced third person shooter nowadays? I don't even know. Like Max Payne is like the only thing I could think of, and it's been a while since we've had that.
I was gonna say Doom, but then that's first person, so no.
Yeah. And third person makes a big difference here because of the way you're having to sort of. I guess it would kind of be like if. Ghost Runner, but that's first person, or that Neon, whatever. I was about to say Neon Genesis, definitely not that. Anyway, Rollerdrome's fantastic. That's all I'm trying to say. So if you have an Xbox and you don't have a
It's a good
PC
game.
or PlayStation, pick it up, especially being in Game Pass, and play and beat it. The only way I could see people just not liking it is if they were just never into a Tony Hawk style game of like trying to get a high score or trying to get all the objectives in a map, stuff like that. But I eat all that up. I love it.
Yep, agreed.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this week.
Yes, sir. I'm definitely gonna put some work into of course I'm gonna be away this week, so I'm gonna try to put some work in today, tomorrow, Tuesday before I leave on vacation. But yeah, man, I'll definitely have some more to say about Alan Wake then. I'm glad I caught up. I'm glad I actually was able to pull it off, playing all those games in like a week or two. So
yeah, I'm still playing Alan Wake 2. If not every day, every other day. I just don't want more to say on it just because it's very much a game on what's happening with its narrative and story direction and all of that. And
it's
so
hard
it's like,
to say,
how can I really talk about that?
Right. All right.
I can't wait for you to see the Alan Wake part. Like, I
can't wait, man. I'm excited.
The game shifts a lot to a very different approach, and
I'm very excited, man.
Yeah. All right. Later.
All right. Later.